My name is Jessie Ace. I'm part of a group of enabled warriors that you've probably never heard of. We're fighting back against our invisible illness and taking the dis out of disability. We don't give sympathy to our symptoms. They enable us to be the warrior that we are. If you ask doctors and nurses, they'd say what we're doing is impossible. But pushing the limits of our conditions is something that we have to break through every single day. See, we push the limits. We are mentally strong, and we can do anything. The question is, how far can we push those limits? This podcast will give you the answers. I'm Jessie Ace, and this is the Disabled to Enabled podcast. Hey, Enabled Warriors! Thank you so much for joining us today. Our special guest today is a guy called Kaz Lalji. I hope I said that right. He's the founder and director of something called Sock-Med or Sock-Med or social media. He started out his career as a HR manager for Tesco before being diagnosed with MS, and then decided to use his marketing skills to go back into social media marketing. So hopefully you're going to tell us a little bit more about that in a minute. That's awesome. And a quote that you had on your website, which I really, really love, is marketing to multiple sclerosis and then back again. I love that. That is so cool. That's so true as well. So thanks so much for joining us today, Kaz. It's absolutely amazing to have you here with us today. So do you want to start by telling us a little bit about yourself?
I'm Kaz Lalji. I'm the founder of Positive About MS, which takes a can-do and positive approach to the condition multiple sclerosis. I founded that after I was obviously diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and it was basically urging people to take a can-do and positive approach to the condition, because everything I seemed to read, like when I was diagnosed back in 2007, everything I read, heard, or saw was basically telling me, right, Kaz, your life's over now, just kind of hang your boots up, sit at home, and kind of that's pretty much it. And
yeah.
I thought there has to be, and like as you alluded to, I have a background in marketing, so I decided to use my marketing skills to market Positive About MS.
Brilliant.
And at the time, there was a phenomenon called social media back in 2010, 2011. It was a free way of advertising your business or your service or your MS organization. So I did that, and then about 2014, 2015, a friend of mine said, "Hey, Kaz, are you still doing the social media?" I went, yeah, it's a good laugh. It's quite entertaining. He said, "Kaz, it's not a good laugh anymore. People get paid to do it." And I was like,
yeah.
I Googled obscene amounts to kind of manage social media, give training. And I was like, this is a bit strange. So obviously I had the marketing knowledge from beforehand, and I thought, I'm going to enroll in a course. So in Media City here in Manchester, I went to Salford Business School, and they had a course about digital marketing and marketing. So I didn't want to be one of those, right, okay, I know it all, I'll be fine. I kind of went to this course and thought, this can't be the same marketing I studied and what I've kind of developed into the social media and digital side.
Yeah.
But evidently it was, and I enjoyed the course, and the lecturer during the course, he's always said, "Kaz, you know what I'm talking about." And I was like, oh, right, okay, so you must think I know what I'm talking about. So well, and then in 2015, as you mentioned, I set up Sock-Med Social Media, which is basically helping people to take their businesses and put them in front of their customers, or in an easy way, and basically putting your personalized billboard underneath the thumb of your customer.
Love that.
There's nothing complicated about it. But yeah, I enjoy doing it. And the most important thing is for someone like myself, I can do it sat at the computer here. So it's very easy to do. Obviously, I go to meetings and stuff, but I'll tell you, there's quite funny stories about how I started off in meetings, but we'll come to that later. But yeah, that's
it's interesting what you were saying about when you were first diagnosed and you were seeing all these so much negativity around the whole thing, and it felt the same as me to me as well. It was just like, okay, your life's over now, like have fun with that kind of thing. And that's exactly why I set up this business, and that's exactly why I wanted to do this podcast as well, because I wanted to show people that actually life only just begins when you have MS. It doesn't end, because there's so much that comes with it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that in parts, but I mean, I suppose I'd almost phrase it to say one life ends and another one starts.
Yeah.
Because that life I had before MS and before your symptoms started, I suppose it was a different type of Kaz.
Yeah.
Almost a different circle of friends. I mean, I'm still in touch with many of my friends, but I suppose if you play football with your mates five-a-side every week, you can't do that. Over time, you kind of not distance yourself, but inevitably, because you're not playing football, you're not hanging around with the same people. So you're hanging around with different people in certain aspects. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I think that's just life, isn't it? There's so many, as you get older, you probably
Definitely.
realise you don't see your mates anymore because you're older or you've got family and stuff. So I
Yeah.
think, it's starting up another life.
Definitely. I mean, before I was diagnosed, I felt completely kind of, I don't know, like, I suppose cut off from everything, because I didn't realize that any of this existed, which is kind of a magical thing. I just kind of took things for granted all the time, and all that sort of thing. And actually, I think from having the MS diagnosis, I've created more of a life that kind of positively impacts other people. Whereas I didn't really have the means to do that before, if you know what I mean.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think that's it's good that you embraced it. So that's a good positive step
So
anyway.
how long have you been diagnosed with MS? Can you tell us like what your story was, how you found out?
Yeah, so basically, it was back in 2000. I was running, and I couldn't break into a sprint. I felt like my leg was giving away. And cut a long story short, I went to the GP, got a referral, saw a specialist consultant, and he basically in 2002, I think it was, or 2000, around 2000, he said to me, "There's nothing wrong with you. You don't need to see me ever again." And that was literally it. I walked out of his office, and I just thought, I was happy in a way, and I was also confused to say, this is weird because I still have the problem I had initially.
Yeah.
It was basically a numb patch on my thigh, so I could kind of punch myself and not feel it. 5-6 years later, something like that, the symptoms became more exaggerated. And rather than just not being able to sprint, I couldn't jog. And if I could jog, I'd be walking, but walking fast and not jogging. And it was almost like something was there that was stopping me doing something. So eventually, once again, I went to see the doctors around 2006. And by then, I was kind of having what I know now as being foot drop. I'd be walking around, and after about, say, 100 yards or so, I think after a while of walking around, you'd feel your body heat up. And then the more you heated up, the heavier your leg got. So I always had this foot drop, but the more you walked, the heavier it got. And I think for me, that's... so then I got diagnosed with MS 9 months later after seeing the GP. They sent me to the specialist and said, it looks like it's probably MS. In 2007, confirmed it. And it was, for me, I mean, people always talk about it like a really traumatic time and the red letter day. But for me, it was kind of a relief. I just had a rough idea when I went to the doctors and stuff. But it wasn't like, oh my God, I've got MS. And I was just like, I was relieved to find out what it was. For about a few years, I've been elaborate excuses. I've got a neck injury, I've got a football injury, because you don't know what yourself. Because people won't see you walking around funny, so I eventually just had to make excuses, and they got more and more elaborate. And at the time, I was a HR manager at Tesco, so part of my role was seeing a lot of people. So every day, someone would ask me about it. So when I got the diagnosis, I was kind of relieved. I must admit, I did stay in the MS closet for a few years after that. I didn't want anybody knowing. Really. And my only one boss at work knew. I mean, out of a store with 600 people, only one person knew. That was my direct line, because obviously they had to know so I can go to appointments.
Yeah.
But I was about letting anyone know, and I just didn't want anyone to know. So it was 2007. I got diagnosed, and because I got diagnosed with primary progressive, it literally does what it says on the tin. It kind of just went in there. So like now, I can't walk at all. So I'll use a mobility scooter to get about, and so like now it's obviously symptoms are exaggerated, and the prognosis they've gave is basically true. But when I got diagnosed and I spoke to my MS nurse, the first thing I said to her was, "How do I get rid of my limp?" And she kind of nice way to tell me, you might have a future where it gets worse than a limp and you might end up in a wheelchair. Which I just thought, no, that's not going to happen to me. I'll fight it. I didn't have a single day off work with MS. No matter what happened to it, I was always in work every day. Until I think some point in 2010 or 11 where my body gave up and I literally was in work and I just couldn't do it anymore. And eventually that led on to my ill health retirement from Tesco. But yeah, that was I suppose, my diagnosis journey. When people talk about relapsing, remitting, and progressive, I always think progressive's worse, but I know what I'm dealing with every day.
Exactly.
So I know it'll get worse.
Yeah.
I know tomorrow morning when I wake up, I know what I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
With yourself, it's more unpredictable. Like that, you can say now it lasted 5 or 6 months, but when you were going through it, you didn't know how long it was going to last.
No.
Maybe another week.
I think that's what it's really taught me, to make the most of every day and to manage my energy as much as possible. Because I don't know about you, but my fatigue is like the biggest thing for me. Some days I can get worn out just going downstairs, and then some days I can go and do like a 2-mile run. It's fine, but it's just so hard to determine it. So yeah. So what do your symptoms look like every day? Like what kind of things do you feel every day?
Lots of symptoms. I mean, like my hands are always permanently numb.
Okay.
My legs are pretty much, I can't feel bats, like legs, and I have like bad spasticity in my legs, but I know you can take baclofen and all these kind of stuff, but my MS nurse said, like, at the moment when I'm transferred, I kind of lift myself up and move from one place to another, and sometimes I kind of just drag myself along, but she says it's that spasticity that allows you to go upright. So if you had things like baclofen, you'd lose the spasticity, which kind of means you won't be able to move around. So it's almost like so that's obviously the mobility is the huge one, because obviously you can't go anywhere without a scooter, and if you're in a MS or MS area, people know it's okay, but you go to business meetings, you go places like that, and you just almost it's quite frustrating. So things like the mobility is the biggest one. I suppose pain, I've kind of just learned to live with it. I think in the early days they offered me painkillers, but I thought to myself, I don't want to just get addicted to painkillers. That would just be another problem to deal with. So,
Exactly. Yeah.
So I just didn't bother with that. Pins and needles, obviously, we get that. I suppose the urgency of having to go to the loo, that's a big one, because obviously you have to plan your journeys and things like that.
Yeah.
I suppose you forget what symptoms you've got because you kind of ignore
them. I know. That's because they're normal to you. You kind of forget that.
They're normal. I suppose they're my main symptoms, if you like. But I suppose the mobility makes it easier in a way, because then people can see that this person's got a problem.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that's kind of my. I don't have to walk around with a badge to say I've got MS or something. It looks like if this guy's got a problem, he's going to scooter kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I would give a big tip for, I'm actually going to do a video for this positive about MS.
Okay.
I eat dates a lot.
You eat dates a lot? Okay.
Dates. So if I have 5 dates in the morning every day, I could take what do you call it? These tablets. They're called selenium tablets.
Okay.
So I'll have them every day. But no, I think basically selenium's like a vitamin that comes from the ground, and if you live in the UK, apparently we don't get as much as the Americans do in other parts of the world. So I'll have
that's interesting.
me 6 or 7. I'll have me 7 dates or 5 dates. Have me selenium tablets because you have to have it with food, drink some water, and that's my thing every morning. And I think that gives me between an extra around 10% more energy every day, which to me is the difference of being able to transfer myself and not being able to transfer myself. So that's
a pretty big thing, yeah.
Yeah, but that's cheap. I mean, a pack of dates you can get like from a local shop for £1 or something. Selenium tablets, I think they pay like £8 for 200. So that's pretty much cheap. So and that's it. And I do that, and that is, since I've started it, it's been brilliant.
So what kind of, are you on any kind of MS medication or anything? And do you find that it helps?
It's quite an interesting question, because when I was first diagnosed, they were going to give me something called, initially they gave me something called mitoxantrone, which I realise is almost like a chemotherapy drug. It's an intravenous thing, and you kind of have it over a period of so many months, and it didn't really make any impact to me whatsoever. I mean, it made me feel really terrible, because you're kind of in bed for a week afterwards. So it wasn't great, but it was a privilege to be asked to be doing it, because apparently it's quite an expensive drug, and not everyone gets to go on it. And at the time I was relatively young, so they were happy for me to try it, and I was pleased that I got the opportunity to do it. So it's good for them to offer it me. But the other drugs they offered me was what's the one that you pin inside? I always see, this is me MS, you forget from this. There's one that they kind of make you practice with a little maybe a stress ball. It's like an injection you stab into your leg.
Yeah. Is it like a little machine? Is that what you're thinking of?
Yeah. What's it called?
Is it Rebif?
I don't know.
Beta
Anyway, no, I'll probably remember by the end of the interview. But they kind of offered it to me, and I said to my MS nurse, "Is it going to help my MS?" She says, "In all honesty, we don't know." I said, "You must have an idea." It says the only way we could ever know is if you lived the same life twice, and in one life you used it, and another life you didn't.
Yeah.
And I said, "What the side effects?" And I looked through the side effects. I just thought to myself, for something that's not going to help my MS, if they said to me, "Kaz, take these tablets, take these injections, you'll be able to walk," I'll take them in a flash. But for something they don't even know what's going to help.
Exactly.
I was quite annoyed about it. I was like, "Well, what do you want me to take this for?" And I'll end up having this. You can, like, when you've been ill, you have this thing where when you've had medicine, you can feel it. So I just thought, I really don't need this. And I don't take any medication whatsoever. And because I've got primary progressive, there's less out there anyway. Obviously, there's trials and all this going on, but there's nothing out there. So I basically don't take anything at all. So, but obviously, I take my dates, and I still do things that proactively help them. Like I do that every morning. I'll do the Move It for MS DVD by the MS Trust. It's about 10 years old. It's brilliant. It's for the Mr. Motivator on it for anyone who lives in the UK.
Oh, right. From GMTV. Back in the day.
Really energetic. The good thing about it is that you can do it. I could do that whole exercise right now. I've seen other videos and say, get this big ball and do this and go here. And sorry, mate, I've got MS. I ain't got time to start picking things up and getting these dumbbells and getting a bottle and using. Well, no, I haven't. But this Move for MS is brilliant because you don't need anything. You press play on YouTube and watch it. It's called Move It for MS.
So Move It for MS.
Yeah, so just type in Move It for MS, MS Trust. I mean, it's been viewed hundreds of thousands of times. Half of them is probably just me.
Just you.
That is a brilliant, because you do it. I can do it here. Like I say, I can't stand up, but I could do the whole routine right now. And on the video, they have different people. They have people who struggle walking. They have people who are able-bodied, and they have people in wheelchairs. They're all doing it, and it's a brilliant video. I mean, I know they've released a new one recently. I think it's got that lady in it. Do you know Trishna Bardia? I don't know if I've got her surname right, but Trishna and Anisha.
Rings a bell.
It's like a Zumba type one.
Oh, cool.
It was in MS Awareness Week 2019. They've got this thing going on, so it's but that's good. That's, I think, their second version, but I've not tried that out completely. But I like the MS Trust one. But yeah, that's what I do to help my MS anyway. I'm not taking the drugs.
That's awesome. Yeah. Oops. So is there any kind of special diet that you have to kind of regulate everything? Or?
I think you notice yourself. I think one of the biggest things I noticed when I was first diagnosed is, or in the early days when I was getting the symptoms, obviously the drink still existed, the drink Red Bull. Yeah. I used to like going out and having a can of Red Bull with some ice, and used to play in a pool team. We used to kind of have it with us. But when I had that, I could almost feel my legs disintegrate. I couldn't even feel them. And I was like, my God, this is like, it's like poison almost. It was like kryptonite. And I just, anytime I had it, I thought, it can't be this. So I tried it another time, and the same thing happened. I could almost, so obviously I checked through the ingredients, and obviously they say it's high in sugar or taurine. And like I say, I'm not a medical professional, and I'm not saying what ingredients is good or bad, but I'm saying as someone with MS, when I have Red Bull, it's terrible for me. So I don't touch it. But obviously, I'm sure it includes all high sugar products, but like I love to have a nice ice cold glass of Coke or something, but I'll make sure I do it in, I won't have like 10 glasses in a day. If I'm having a nice special meal, I'll kind of have one, or if I'm having takeaway night, I'll kind of, so I'm still kind of have a balanced diet, and I still eat a lot of rubbish, but I still make sure that I don't do it to an extent where it's going to have an adverse effect. So it's not going to give me like stomach ache, or if you're out all day, like I'm going to meetings, you always end up drinking coffee or drinking Coke. And by that, then you've got your bladder urgency, and then you've got a head rush, and obviously the caffeine. So you've got to just be a bit careful with it.
So what would you say was one thing that you've really learned since having MS?
Learned a lot about myself. I was always one of those people, if you want a job doing properly, do it yourself. And like when I was at Tesco, I was a good manager. I was damn good at my job, and I always make sure I always delivered. If I with the people around me, with the team, or even if I had a personal project, something I had to get done, it would never not be finished. It'd always be done. But what you learn is with someone with MS, you need to be a damn good delegator. And the rule, the work, or the phrase, if you want a job doing properly, do it yourself, doesn't exist anymore. If you want a job doing properly, you need to be able to ask people.
Yeah, you need to find the right person as well.
When I was first in the early days of the MS, and I realised I couldn't walk, and I used to fall. I mean, I fall every day, to be honest. But when I was really falling, sometimes I'd be like, bang, crash on the floor upstairs, literally lying on the floor, with my face on the carpet, kind of unable to move. My parents running upstairs, my wife, oh, is everything okay? And I'm like, I'm absolutely fine. We just go downstairs, and they're looking and think, listen, mate, you're not fine. You're lying on the floor with your face on the carpet, unable to move.
Yeah.
And you look absolutely in desperate need of help. But I didn't take the help. I made sure I pushed myself up, eventually crawled to wherever I need to, drag myself up, hence the muscly upper body, because I was so used to it. But I realised that over time, you realise that pride is a big problem.
Yes.
They'll say pride
Definitely.
before a fall. So true. So it took me a few years to get rid of that pride, because I was adamant I could do it myself, but you can't. You need people. And you say you need the right people, but people are nice. People, like, whenever we read the press or we read the news, we hear about people being stabbed on the streets, being mugged and stuff. But so many good people out there. They like help you, they open doors for you, and people are helping. So it's human nature. If you see someone struggling as a human, you want to help them. So
absolutely.
Well, now I ask. So if someone says, Kaz, do you need help? I'll say yes or no.
Because it's just learning how to use your body in a different way, I think, as well. I think that's the kind of the big thing.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good way of putting it,
yeah. Because that's what I kind of like to say about that we're not disabled people. Like, I don't see myself as disabled. I see myself as just differently abled. So I am enabled. How do you think disability is viewed by the general public these days?
That's the attitudes have completely changed. I think society, or whoever it is, they've done an amazing job, especially over the last 5 years, especially. Like now, if you're not accessible, people are like, what do you mean you're not accessible? It's almost frowned upon, like, you have to be accessible. Of course, there's still bits that exist, but the attitudes have changed. I think we as disabled people, I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but I think people need to show that they are can-do people, and I think what will help is seeing more disabled people or people who need help on television, showing that they can do things. So I travelled by train a couple of years ago to London, and I was doing some work with the BBC, and I had to get a black cab from Euston to Broadcasting House. And I thought, oh, I'll just wait for the taxi. And as soon as I pulled up, the guy jumped out, opened the ramp, like it was standard. It wasn't like, oh God, I've got a wheelchair passenger, how do I deal with this? And scratching his head. They all knew it, and I was talking to him, and I was quite impressed. He says, oh no, every taxi in London has to have this. Yeah. The black cab have a ramp, and they need to know how to use it. And he says, well, I'm quite pleased when I see people using it, because it shows that we need it. Yeah. But the attitude was brilliant. Definitely. He didn't roll his eyes, and in the past that would have happened. So that was really, really positive. So
it's good. It's good. Airport assistance at the airport, and it was the first time that I'd used that. Last time I went, and that was quite a new thing for me, because, like, obviously looking at me, you wouldn't think that there's anything different. I look like a normal person, you know. And that was a kind of scary thing, because I didn't really know what to expect, and I was kind of walking up to this desk, and I was, you know, there was like people in wheelchairs and everything all around me, and I was kind of like, oh, nobody's going to believe me. This is going to be like really awkward and hard. And the lady was amazing on the help desk. She was literally, she showed me a picture of the plane steps, and she was like, are you able to go up these plane steps? And I was like, pretty much, yeah, I might crawl, but yeah, I'll pretty much get up there somehow. She was like, okay, fine. And she was like, do you need like a wheelchair for in the airport to get you from A to B? And I was like, yes, that would be really helpful. But at the time I was like, oh, I really don't want one of those. Oh my God. It was the first time that I'd been in a wheelchair. So I was a bit like, oh, this is really strange. I don't like it, kind of thing. But what I found was amazing was when I was going through the airport, like, people were just really respectful, and they were kind of moving out the way, and they were opening doors, and I was kind of like, oh, this is really nice, actually. And I kind of settled into that a little bit, and I kind of thought, you know what, actually, I'm going to see this wheelchair differently. I'm going to see it as literally a way to get me from A to B, so that I can enjoy my holiday when I go over there. And that's literally, you know.
Well, that's the better way to do it. A wheelchair or scooter is there to get you from A to B, so you can
Exactly. Yeah, so I don't think it's something that we need to fear. You know, if someone else is in, say, my position where, you know, you can walk most of the time and you're okay, I don't think that's something that you need to fear, really. Because I think, like you say, we are heading into a world that is far more accessible and it's far more...
Well, I mean, I remember when I first used my scooter at the Trafford Centre here in Manchester, I was terrified of someone I know seeing me.
Yeah.
I was like, well, they'll know this manager from Tesco who's always up and down shop floors. And I used to kind of walk on the Trafford Centre with my crutch, and I'd be sweating, refusing to use a scooter. And then as soon as I started to use it, I was like, oh, why didn't I do this earlier? I refused to use the walking aid. It worked because I didn't want people to think. I used to walk around like the hunchback in Notre Dame, literally nearly falling over because I refused to use a crutch. And when I first started using one, I thought people would be pointing and saying, and the first thing that somebody said to me was, about time you started using that. I've been thinking that for a while. I was, for God's sake, I wish they'd said it earlier. But no, it's just like you say, you just can make life easier for yourself.
Yes, definitely. And that's what it's all about. It is about making life easier for yourself. And I think if you don't do that, then you're not really having a life at all, because you're just struggling constantly. And I think that's, that's when you start to see MS as a bad thing, because you are really having to fight it a lot more. Whereas actually, if you just did the things that just helped you, then you could be like, okay, I can actually live, and I can actually go and do things, and I can actually...
Yeah, I think that's a good thing. I mean, once again, I think a lot of things I talk about positive about MS is like that. You need to kind of live your life. And sometimes you just need to be thankful and say, well, at least I'm in a place where I can have a wheelchair or scooter.
Yeah.
Using a wheelchair and scooter the first time, it was daunting. It was awful. I was so frustrated and angry with myself for having to degrade myself for a wheelchair.
Yes.
Really, really annoying. But then I just thought, okay, then use a scooter. If you don't want to be pushed around, use a scooter. If you need a wheelchair, use the electronic one with a joystick there. Everybody uses it.
Control yourself,
Yeah, and I was like inspired by other people who use wheelchairs and scooters. I was like, when I was I remarried once after I'd had MS, and I was thinking about having kids and stuff. And I mean, Dad would say, I said to me, Dad, like, can I bring up kids? Can I do it? Is it the right thing to do?
Yeah.
And you question, is it right? And my dad said to me, you know that Stephen Hawking's got 4 kids. I was like, what? He says to me, being a father is not about being able to run about on the football field. It's about there's other things. And we had a conversation. It really, like I say, really helps. But the point I'm trying to make is we need to kind of have that can-do approach. You can't sit there and think, oh, my life's gone, I can't do this, I can't do that. You'll wish your life away. You'll basically look back in 10 years, 20 years' time and think, why didn't I just do it?
Exactly.
No, I just don't care to do it. What's the worst people are going to say? They're going to point or ask or say something.
Yeah.
So, I think it's we need to just use the facilities, support, or whatever it is around us to reach where we need to reach and to live the best life we can. So when you look to yourself or you sleep at night and think, do my best today. Yes, we like bad days. You like days where you feel like kicking the cat. I mean, I could kick the cat, but the days when you feel really bad. And I mean, I describe it as the bad days for MS. I mean, I say to my wife, just pretend it's my time of the month. I'll feel a bit down. I'll feel a bit down for a few days. I'll be a bit annoyed, a bit angry. I'll question why me and why do I have to put up with this crap every day and frustration. I'll just say it'll take a few days. I'll get over and I'll be back to normal cars.
Yeah.
And I think we kind of have to just accept that will happen. There's nothing wrong with questioning why. There's nothing wrong with having a bad day. That's life. Everyone has a bad day. Just kind of have to kind of accept it, move on, and just carry on. And what are you going to do? Just sit there and cry for the rest of your life? You need to live it. You owe it to yourself.
Exactly.
And you just need to have that. Need to do something. Need to owe it to yourself to do something.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's what you make it at the end of the day. That's literally what it's about. It doesn't matter what hand you're dealt in life. I think it's what you do with that makes the difference.
I've got a young lad who's 7 now, but I'll just mention it because it just came into conversation. I remember when I was, obviously, he's always seen me struggle walking. When I walk, I kind of literally holding on and just falling over and dragging my foot. And I think 6-7 years ago, when I was kind of dragging myself along, when he was 1.5, he used to kind of watch me. And one day, my wife said, "Look at him." And I says, "What?" She said, "Just look through the door." And like when I move and like heavy breathing, every energy's a lift. And it's like almost lifting iron weights in your body to just get places.
Yeah.
And he was imitating what I was doing at 1.5 years old. And he was just like, he was with the sound effects, moving his leg in a straight way, moving his hand next, and literally, he was only 1.5, and I was like, part of me was feeling, my God, that's heartbreaking. But the other part, I was like, that's almost quite a nice moment. It was kind of bittersweet. But
was there a time when you kind of felt like you had to sit them down and just explain like what was actually going on and things? And how did you really approach that?
Like my young lad, he's like 7.5 now, and my daughter, she's 1.5. So I just, at the moment, the young lad, I just say to him, Daddy's not well. Will he get better? Don't think so, but you never know in the future. I don't think I could explain MS to him now, but I think in the next couple of years that conversation is going to come up. So I'm just, ironically, I have a section on my website on Positive about MS where we talk about how to explain MS to kids. And we use the characters of The Simpsons. That's still running.
Okay. Yeah. I think so. Well, I don't have a TV, but I guess it's still running.
But yeah, this activity is still there. So we use the Simpsons characters to describe the symptoms. So we call it the symptoms. And we kind of, whenever we show a picture of Homer on the couch drooling, and it says, right, that's tired. We show different, I can't remember them all at the moment, but there's different symptoms we show. And we show like Smithers and Mr. Burns. Like Smithers is almost like his carer, because if you can't do everything himself, you need someone else next to you to help you.
Yeah.
And we kind of use the Simpsons characters to describe MS for kids. So
I love that. That's so good.
Yeah, but no, I suppose that conversation will come along in the next couple of years. So I have to think about something that's easily understood by a child, but at the same time makes them understand that. I think these days it's making it easier for us. The other day we were watching TV, and on the BBC there was a weather broadcaster, and she had half a limb missing. And Zane went, "Oh look, she's not got a hand there." And I went, "Yeah, everyone's different." I says, "You go to school, everyone looks different. We're all different coloured hair. We're all different." And it's just, I just described it like that. And I say, look, some people use wheelchairs, some people run, some people walk. So I think the times we live in are making it a bit easier to say that people are different, but we live in an inclusive society, which means that whatever your difference is, it doesn't really matter. Everyone is different.
Yeah, and that's such a lovely way to teach him as well. So what have you really done since you've been diagnosed that you didn't think that you would ever do?
Set up SOCMed social media business. I didn't think I'd set up a business and start doing that.
Yeah.
I didn't think my disability would work in my favour. When I first set my business up, I hid my disability completely on the website, talked about how great we were. I spoke to people on the phone, and I always tried to avoid people seeing my disability until they basically had to.
Yeah.
And I did the first probably 18 months. I thought the attitudes of disabled people look very positive. What's this guy going to be able to do, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And, one of my clients, obviously I met one of my clients, and he was the chief executive of Manchester Business School, and which is quite obviously he's a very, very important chap, very nice chap. And I'd been working with him for about 6 months. I said to him, I thought I'm gonna have to ask him, because why would someone like that work with me? And I said to him, why did you decide to work with me? And he says, oh, right, that was simple. And oh, really, why? He says, I thought you were going to say, oh, yeah, you worked with the BBC, so you must be good, or you did this work with the thing. And then he says, oh, it's because you're in the scooter. I says, what? He says, I see how hard you work to get here, and the work you put in, and it must be you show real resilience and grit and determination. And he says, if you show that for yourself, what on earth are you going to work from? How good is your work going to be for me? So he says, based on that resilience and determination, he said it was a no-brainer. So the thing I thought was my biggest thing I had to hide was in fact the biggest positive. So when people see me, like, wow, this guy's in a scooter and he's doing all this. Let's work with him, because it works in a better way. So that was I learned that out the hard way, so I suppose. But yeah, it's good.
So this is the part of the show where we find out a little bit more about the personality of our guests with some super quick secrets. Most inspiring book that you've ever read. What is your favourite comfort food?
Comfort food. I think I'm like a Coke addict. Like, I want a drink of Coke.
Okay.
So that's like my kind of. I need that kind of thing. But
your go-to.
Well, my favourite food is like my mum's or my wife's biryani. Like, I like a nice long biryani.
Nice. Can't beat that.
That's my favourite like food, if you like. But comfort, just give me that kind of Coke.
So what is the weirdest thing that you've ever done, do you think?
The weirdest, years ago, before even I was diagnosed with MS, I've got a little sister, and like as big brothers, you try to make her laugh. So I was only about 20 at the time, or 22, something like that. And I was in Asda with my mum, and we went shopping with my mum. So I took my mum shopping, and my sister was there. And I was just trying to make her laugh, and she was at the other end of the aisle. So I just took this big 12-pack of toilet roll and bowled it. Just because it was like night time, and it was like about 7 in the evening, so it was a quiet house. I just kind of rolled it, and she was like, "What are you doing?" So then I just kind of forgot about it. But where it gets really weird is, I was out a couple of weeks later or a month later, and someone came up to me and they says, "I think I know you," and I was like, "Oh, right." I was cancelled, and they said, "You go to the Asda," and I was like, and she named the town. I was like,
"Oh no!"
Yeah, and then she said, "Throw some toilet rolls in the middle of it."
Oh no!
And I'm like, she went, yeah, and I went, oh, I don't know, and I think I was mortified. I was like, oh my god. It wasn't against the social media, so luckily I got away with it. But yeah, that's the weirdest thing.
That's now your claim to fame. Oh gosh, that's so funny.
I think that'll take some topping, to be honest.
What's the favourite place you've ever visited?
Oh, favourite place I've ever visited. Well, I think my favourite place is, I suppose it's hard to get there now. There's a place called Yemen, and it used to be on British colony. And there's a city there called Aden, and it used to be quite a famous port, a bit like what Dubai is now. It was like the Dubai of the 60s or something. They've got a place called Elephant Bay, and there's like a rock shaped like an elephant.
Wow.
And there's like they do boat rides and stuff. And I remember doing this boat ride, and the water was crystal blue, nice hot day, and like just beautiful. And I was like, I was with my wife, and we'd only married like months at the time, and I just thought, this is a beautiful place. I'd love to come back here one day. Obviously, they're going through very difficult times there, with war or conflict, whatever people call it, but a beautiful place. Yeah, and I just thought, if I get a chance, I'll come there. It's like touching the water, beautiful one, like picturesque stuff. And but yeah, that's probably my favourite place in the world. A
dog person or a cat person? Now I know you've already said you would kick the cat out of. So if a lot of you are listening, Enabled Warriors, please do not kick cats. They do not like it.
To be honest, I always kind of think, like as a child, you always like a dog or a cat, or either want to be funny. But now you just think, my God, it takes so much looking after. It would be really difficult. But I'm kind of easy. I don't prefer a dog over a cat or vice versa. I think they're both fine. I think these days you just watch most of them on like Facebook and doing funny things and stuff like that. But, I suppose I don't have a preference, to be honest. I'm either or is good.
Okay, that's fine. So what is the scariest thing that you've ever done?
I like to do a lot of scary things, like push the boundaries.
Oh, brilliant.
Do more and more, do things that sometimes I do stuff and I think, why on earth to do that? Like taking on projects. Someone says, can you do that for us, Kaz? Yeah, of course I can do it. Then you're up to like 3 a.m. doing it. When you get like a rush to kick in, and you're like, all right, okay. You finish it, you think, okay, that's really good. But yeah, I think that's like scary. I think I just always try to push boundaries, and like even though you know yourself you shouldn't, you just kind of keep pushing to the next one and do like I like to do new things. I won't do anything like bungee jumping or something like that. I won't volunteer myself for that. I just think that's like, I don't know why someone would volunteer to jump off a cliff like with an elastic band holding it. But yeah.
What is your favourite hobby?
I like social media. I kind of love this stuff. I just like, obviously I work in it, but I kind of enjoy it anyway. So I like using social media. But hobby-wise, I like to relax. I have a place. I'm probably going to regret mentioning this, but it's probably booked out. There's a place in Derbyshire. And there's a place called the Croft Bungalow. It's an accessible one. They've just made a brand new garden.
Oh wow!
And I like going away there for a couple of days or something, and nice on a sunny day. It's nice there. So I don't know if it's quite a hobby, but I like to enjoy relaxing time.
Yeah.
And,
very nice. What is a hobby? Last question. What is a hobby that you've always wanted to try out, but you've never really done it?
One thing I would have always wanted to do is like paragliding or something like that, or jet skiing.
Oh wow! Okay.
I'd love to do that. That would be amazing. I don't think it'd be impossible for me to do it now, but that's not a regret. But I think if there's one thing I would have liked to do is do jet skiing, or do you know when they do that paragliding with the speedboat and you're in the air?
Oh gosh, yeah.
That seems kind of safe because the worst case scenario, you fall 20 or 30 feet into the water, so it's not really.
Oh, the rope breaks.
Yeah, that's it. You only fall into water.
Fly off.
It just seems like a bit too scary. But yeah, I would have liked to do jet skiing or something. That would be nice.
Oh, well, that sounds cool. I would definitely look into see if there's an accessible kind of thing to help with that, because there are a lot more accessible things out there now.
Yeah, but I mean, I suppose a lot of people, and I don't know, I suppose the disabled people might kind of comment on this. Everything just seems to be so much more expensive for people. Some places are brilliant for like hotel room. There's like parity now, but some places they book holidays for disabled people, and you pay like 60% or more than anybody else for the same venue because they kind of. So yeah, I kind of have a bit of a gripe with that, but yeah.
So where can other warriors find out more about you and what you do?
Yeah, basically, I suppose if you want to, I suppose it's obviously MS stroke disability related. We always post stuff on the @positiveaboutms channel. So whichever social media channel you work or you go on, just type in @positiveaboutms, all one word, and you can see what we're up to. Or we always try to inspire people or tell them new things that are coming out, or just talk generally, or have a good old discussion sometimes.
Brilliant. Okay, so do you want to just repeat that again? So that's @positive.
Yeah, @positiveaboutms.
@positiveaboutms.
Yeah, and that's how you just find us and then engage with us, follow us, or send us good stuff. Sometimes if someone sends us stuff that's what we might find is interesting, we'll post it on social media and stuff. Like I said, there's no rules like we'll only post this or post that. Most of the time we'll post anything as long as it's adding value to people and people can get benefit from it.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for everything. So just repeat your website again and your social media handles for everybody listening.
Yeah, the website is positiveaboutms.com, so all one word, positiveaboutms.com, and the social media channels are exactly the same, @positiveaboutms. That's free marketing advice as well. If you're going to name something, always have the same name everywhere, so we'll find it.
Awesome. That's brilliant. So thank you ever so much again for coming on. And remember, warriors, stay enabled. Thanks, Kaz. If you want to fight back against your invisible illness and help take the dis out of disability, then join the tribe on Facebook, facebook.com/enabledwarriors. If you love this podcast, click that subscribe button and never miss another episode. And remember, warriors, stay enabled.